Alrighty, YouTube, welcome back. I'd like to start out today's video with a holy shit. I cannot believe this thing fired up on the first key turn. At the point of talking now, it's been 2 days since I first fired it up, and I've just been riding that excitement ever since. It's incredible. But just getting the engine running is only half the battle. I still have everything on the front half and forward to still deal with. So to start today's video off, we need to sort out some accessories. Now the pulley that's already on it is a V-belt pulley, and I don't necessarily want to use V-belts because I don't like them. I've had a bad encounter with V-belts before in my life. I kind of want to try to use the serpentine stuff off of the 2.5, but I have no clue how close any of it's going to be. This is the bracket from the passenger side. How did this mount before? I want to say it went like this because the water pump fed its hose through this little part here. And yeah, this little cutout is probably for where the oil filter was. And you know what? It's actually pretty close. It's hitting the oil pump, and there's also nowhere to mount it down here, but I do conveniently have these 2 bolt holes that I could probably build a bracket off of. The spacing of these 2 holes here is the same as this, but you can see this one hole is slightly offset. I can re-drill that. If it's hitting the oil filter there, I got a lot of room. I can cut the majority of this out. Maybe this is gonna be easier than I think it will be to adapt. What about the power steering though? Okay, here's the power steering. This is bigger and uglier than I remember it being. The 2.5 had like bolt holes you could put this on. This thing, oh, she's gonna need a lot of trimming. This isn't gonna be fun. I could probably just make a new bracket for this because this just mounts with 3 bolts. Thinking. I have some thinking to do. Making this accessory setup work is gonna be a nightmare. And in digging in my shed looking at my other parts, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use the coupler that came with the 2.5 because this is meant to be bolted on and this is a press fit. So I'm gonna pull this off to see how this fits. If this doesn't fit, we'd have problems. That's already a problem. So that does fit, but the fact that it doesn't press fit is a big issue because this crank is not threaded. It's why every time I go to put this little V-belt pulley on, I have to hammer it in place. Now looking at this V-belt pulley, it is curiously sized to match the thickness of this. Well, I don't know if match is the right word to use, but it's very similar. And it looks like even the bolt holes, the spacing might even match. So I mean, what if I were to... Oh, that almost fits too. I could bolt this onto that. The next question becomes, how the hell do I put this on that shaft? Well, let's see if this does anything. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh my god, it's on. Okay. If you're wondering, yes, I am using flammable brake clean to cool this down. Well, I'm kind of committed to that one now, aren't I? It's gotta be safe to assume that's fully installed. It did stop there. Should probably bolt this back on at some point with its pulley. Huh. You know, it's almost like it was made to happen. We might be onto something here. We just might. Oh, I forgot something kind of important. I was gonna grind the lip of this because this is such a tight fit. I suppose I could grind this because the belt sits pretty deep in those grooves. Yeah, okay, I'm grinding the pulley. Really? Yeah, I think I can work with that. It's getting a little hairy in the belt situation, but serpentine, I'm not super concerned with it. Because I don't have a lot to actually attach this with, the bolts in this thing are fine thread. I'm gonna take some of these studs that I had for my exhaust manifold, thread them in, and then we'll bolt the pulley to that. All right, trimmed a little bit off of those guys. They should fit a little better. Centering this might be interesting. A lock washer and blue Loctite might seem redundant, but I don't want this thing moving ever. As far as centering this goes, I'm just going to use my eyeballs and hope she lines up. It is out just a little bit. Actually, yeah, I guess if I twist it against these loose bolts, that should, in theory, self-center, right? Is that a proven theory? I'm a genius. I do smart things sometimes. I'm hoping with every hope and dream inside of me that this guy... You know what? I think that's close enough. Ooh, that's pretty damn good, man. Snug so the silicone can set. It's like 7:40. I'll come back and finish that up in like an hour or so. Hopefully it's as good as I think. Ha ha! Come on, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not perfect by any means, but it should self-center. As long as I get the rest of this garbo at least somewhat aligned. You know, somewhat like this. To be honest, I don't know if they ever made serpentine accessories for a 3-liter. Maybe in like the Vortec 3000s in some of the forklifts or other applications. Getting this to fit is gonna be a nightmare. I might end up cutting literally most of this bottom part of the bracket out. But that being said, it's pretty close. Here is the situation with this bracket. Cut out a little bit more of this. I'm gonna need one solid brainstorming session for that. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to at least bolt this on once and see if it's actually close. Actually, that might be closer than I think it is. It needs some room though, that's for sure. That actually looks like it might be in alignment, you know? Hang on, let me go make some modifications here. Okay, after a little bit of off-camera trial and error, I cut off, there was a ridge this big around this whole bracket, smoothed that out, and then notched this hole over. I kind of have this big ugly stack of stuff. I did some trial and error with spacing, and 3 nuts seems to be the best. The big stack of washers is here just because I don't have bolts that are the right size. That'll bolt on there nicely. This actually fits pretty well. And surprisingly enough, that pulley is actually in line. Now that this has the capability to swing where it needs to, it is touching on the back here. I'd like to cut a little bit more out of that. Zap that down, which is gonna need some metal added here to actually sit on the spacer properly because that standoff is too far over. Actually, you know what? It's pretty solid like that, but I don't trust it against the tension of this thing. Like that, is that not literally perfect? Get that out. Oops. Oh, I've seen way worse belt alignments than this. That's fine. This is gonna be easier than I thought it was. That's a win. Well, can you tell this? Alternator to tensioner. Come on, dude. That's not bad. And you know, as silly as it seems, I might actually just weld 3 half-inch nuts like this together. I got this aluminum as well. I might be able to actually just weld a piece of this onto there. Expand that bit out. Not super confident in my aluminum welding abilities, but it would give me an option here. I might end up polishing this alternator as well, just to get some shine balance between the sides of the engine. Maybe I can ask my dad to pull another favor for me. Oh, do I really want to bust out the TIG to try to weld aluminum to this? Gotta learn somehow. Well, this is gonna be ugly. Damn, I hate aluminum. I'm also getting mad at arguably one of the hardest welding processes. See, it does this, and I don't know why. I don't know why it does that. And the not knowing why is what makes me so mad. Whatever. It's as good as it's getting, and you're not seeing it. Well, now that I sufficiently want to throw my welder across the room, I'm hoping this fits a little better. .ca/save. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/save. And since it's set up and I already want to scream, We're TIG welding these together. I just went and cleaned that up. Could be a lot better. Could be a lot worse. Suits the vibe, I guess. I'm gonna fuse a 1/2-inch washer to the bottom of these guys as well, just for some added support against that bracket. All right, let's see how well this garbo fits. The idea with the washer on this stack of nuts was mainly for support on this piece of aluminum I welded in there. It's kind of sketchy. Sweet. That is pretty damn good, man. Pretty solid just with the 2 bolts there. I'd almost considered leaving it, but I'm better than that. So let's make a bracket to go onto this bolt. Okay, so using my precision bending tools. That looks like 90. Sorry for the angle. It's times like these I wish I could afford a DSLR or something better. There we go, that fits a little better. It does look like this is indeed a 3/8 bolt. I'm gonna go drill that hole in the bottom of this guy to mount that first. Oh, I'm always fabbing something, eh? Drop this guy in here. It's a lot shorter too. Alrighty. Ooh, it's pretty good. I'm gonna mark my hole while it's in here. Look at that cute little thing. So let's give that a quick shot of paint. I always have to make things way more complicated than they need to be. Will you fit? Oh, beautiful. Will you fit? Please fit. Oh, thank you. I will take this bracket off again and paint it once I'm ready. Because it is ugly. Don't worry, it's coming. You're painting everything else in this damn truck. Alright. How are we looking? Alignment-wise, looks pretty good. Oh, that is solid, dude. This can actually get bolted in. Alright, it was getting a little late last night, so before I went to bed, I ended up painting this bracket here and clear coating my nuts just so they don't rust. And now, this is all done. The alternator's bolted in permanently until I take this off to get it polished to match the valve cover and the turbo. And now we can move on to the power steering pump. In the few hours that I've been out of bed this morning, I've already discovered this is gonna be an absolute nightmare. This power steering pump mounts with these 3 bolts here. These 2 on the back that I suppose could be used as well, but I'd like it to be at least a little structural. The current issue I'm having here is my belt. It's not long enough. Finding a belt is gonna be disastrous. Way too close to the exhaust manifold for me to be comfortable with, and even in its longest position way out, still a little close to the exhaust. So probably somewhere down here I'd be a little more comfortable with. Build maybe a heat shield for the exhaust. As far as mounting designs go for this, mounting this so it stays in alignment, it's gonna suck. I think what I want to do to start to make my life a little easier is just build a C that fits around this guy. We'll figure it out as we go. 4 inches will be fine. Cut a little bit out of the middle of this one so it'll fit around that. And because I don't have my dad's plasma cutter, it's been a mighty long time since I had to do that something. There we go. Alright, there's bracket half number 1. May as well keep the consistency. Oh no, these are metric bolts and I don't think I have any more of them. That'll work. I got 2 of these. Aha! Sweet. That's why you keep old bolts around. And with this piece welded onto the back, gives us a really good base to start building a bracket out of. All right, so here's the idea. I don't really care about how far away this is gonna be sitting for, belt length purposes. It is gonna be a rather large stretch from where the power steering sits to where the alternator is, but that's how it's run from factory. I'm kind of thinking here, off of these 2 bolts, I want to run a plate that sticks out no farther than the edge of the block and is obviously going to need a bit of a cut to match the angle of the 2 bolts there. And then when that's in there, I can weld this onto the side of that as high up or low down as I want. I can brace it however which way down to either this bolt here or there's an empty one here, and I think that'll be pretty good. And actually, if I do 2 inches, I can set it a little bit closer in too. 2 inches by 9. All right, I actually had to cut that out of some 3-inch flat bar because I only ever buy 3-inch. I'm gonna measure that angle here, right there. I think that'll do. Alrighty, let's see. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. But how do I want to transfer those holes is the question. Yeah, pretty rough estimate. The height isn't so much important to me. I could just go straight to the top of that bracket. Oh, but that high, it hits the manifold and I can't get my alignment. That should give me perfect amounts of clearance to this guy. I think that'll be okay. I'm just gonna go chop the corner off of this just to get a little bit more clearance to the exhaust manifold there. I think right at the top of that bracket will be pretty damn good. Okay, oh yeah, that's beautiful. Might take me some tries to get this where I want it yet. Or I might just luck out and do it on the first one. Gotta twist it up just a touch. Oh, that's beyond acceptable. That's perfect. Oh, this belt's just a little too short, which is lame. Yeah, she's kind of flimsy right now. So let's add that piece to the top bolt over here. All right, let's take this thing off and go weld it and brace it, and then we'll be done. That's all welded up. I'm gonna cut some triangular braces to brace all this together. All right. All right, that's got some structure. Ooh, she's actually pretty stiff. Let's put a belt on here and see how she does. My dad happened to stop over with a new car he just bought between one of the sections here, and we determined that the belt I had was just too short. This is a 760K-6, which is 76 inches all the way around. We figured a 77.5. The partner was just a little bit different, but 775 is 77.5 inches. And this should hopefully fit almost perfectly. Oh, you're gonna need this kind of belt, are ya? It's the right size, but it is like just the right size. I wonder if I take it off of this guy, because this is a slippery pulley. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's see how much flex this bracket has, if any. Oh, I think we're good. Because to move that anymore, you'd have to force it. I mean, hell, the alternator is moving about the same amount anyways. Well, you know what? That's pretty good. Let's see how it stays aligned when I turn it over. If anyone's concerned about this big floppy gap from pulley to pulley, that is how a factory 2.5 is ran. Okay, I'm kind of in the firing range of the belt here, so let's just see. Yep, that's a win. That is a win right there. Cool, let's get that bracket off and paint it up to match this guy, and that'll be done. All right, I got the power steering bracket back out, and honestly, for once, I'm pretty happy with how a bracket turned out. This doesn't look so bad. Not pretty, but I mean, it works, right? Now that that bracket is done and painted, that fully completes the front end of the engine. Kind of a pain in the ass designing and getting all of that to work together, especially when you're trying to keep 5 different pulleys in line with each other, all with parts that are never supposed to work together. The fact that it turned out as good as it did makes me really happy. And for today's video, that's gonna be it. This week was a little bit unproductive for me. All of this stuff just kind of drove me nuts. But that leaves some good news, which is the fact that this engine is now ready to be broken in. I need to make a few little things, such as the exhaust, just like a little up pipe that I can stick my wideband O2 sensor in so I know how it's running. I gotta stick the rad support on so I can plumb the water pump, the thermostat, and all that so I can fill it up with coolant and make sure it's not gonna leak. And then after that, I might put one fender on just to hold the rad support up. We'll see. And then it's ready to break in. And we're in the home stretch. There's not a lot left to do after that. I mean, there is and there isn't, but the majority of the stuff is getting near the end. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching.